Hello guys, I'm Gina, and we're going to do a 30-day series on men who are powerful and made an impact in the Bible. All right, so today we are talking about Ruth. Ruth is Naomi's daughter-in-law. Now this can be found in the Old Testament in the book of Ruth, okay? And so basically she's known for the where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people and your God will be my God. That is in Ruth 1:16. The story is about a lady that married Naomi's son. So she married her son and Naomi's husband wound up passing away. Okay. So her husband passed away. So she was left to be a widow. Well, unfortunately, she had two sons and her two sons passed away as well. And so she told her daughter, she's like, you know what, you guys, you go right along. You know, my sons are dead. I have nothing for you. Just go ahead and go. I'm good. I got this. So the one lady was like, you sure? And she's like, yep, I'm positive. You go ahead and go. So the one lady's like, okay, well, then I will go ahead and go. So she went ahead and left. The other young lady, Ruth, was like, no, ma'am, I'm not leaving you. She's telling them, you need to go, right? So she felt like because, you know, all of her husband and then her sons died, you know, that she's like, no, God is not liking me. You guys go ahead. But Ruth was like, no, I am not leaving you. And she told her, don't you ask me to leave you and turn back wherever you go. And that's when she said, I will go and I will live. Your people will be my people and your God will be my God. So she was one of those people that she's like, I don't care what you say. I am not leaving you. She was faithful to her, like to the utmost. She was so faithful to her. The lady was like, all right, see you later. You know, you don't have to ask me twice. I'm gone, right? So because she could not shake her daughter-in-law was so faithful. She's like, okay, we're going to go ahead and leave. So they wind up going to Bethlehem in the spring at the beginning of the barley harvest. So they're like, nope, we're going to go ahead and go. So then there was a guy named Boaz, and he was a relative of Naomi's husband, right? He told the people, he's like, listen, anybody that go out, he's like, leave behind some stalks and grains for Ruth, because he's like, you know, I heard about this girl. She's so faithful to her mother-in-law. And I want to make sure that she has food that she can bring back to them. And I want her to be able to harvest these things. So he was like, you guys go ahead and make sure you leave her some. So they left her some. And then he went on to tell the guys, don't mess with her. Like he was telling the men, do not mess with her because she's, you know, I want to protect her, right? So obviously, maybe he was liking her from the beginning or something. So he's like, okay. So then he told her, you hang around the young people. So you hang around the young women so that they can show you how to do it. He had favor upon her. She had favor upon her life just going there. So he was like, you're going to have favor, right? Because he saw what type of person she is and he saw how faithful and committed she was to Naomi. He's like, you know, God put upon his heart to do that. So Ruth, she fell at his feet and she thanked him. She's like, oh my gosh, like what did I do to deserve this? Like, I don't even understand, but I'll take it. So then it was dinner time, y'all. And so Boaz was like, come on over here, right? So I think he was starting to like her a little bit, kind of impressed. But then he was like, you have comforted me by speaking so kind to me, even though I'm not one of your workers. So that's what she's like, I hope I can continue to please you. So then at mealtime, he was like, come on over here. He said, help yourself to some food. So I think at this time, he probably was like, you know what? I kind of like this lady. And he's like, you can dip your bread in the sour wine. So she sat with the harvesters and Boaz gave her some roasted grain to eat. She ate all she wanted and she still had some left over. So she was like, I'm going to go ahead and eat, right? And they went, let her get whatever she wants. Don't stop her. Listen, you know, I think he's like, I'm liking this girl. So she's like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take care of my mother-in-law because she loved her mother-in-law so much. And I think it's important to say that this is showing how faithful Ruth was. Like she could have been like, I'm done, I'm out, I'm over it. But she was so faithful. She's like, nope, I'm gonna stick with you. I'm gonna stick with you, Ruth, right? So then she came back and Naomi's like, girl, where did you get all of this grain? Like what? You know, she's like, what the heck? And she's like, she said, mate, where did you work at? And she goes, may the Lord bless the one who helped you. So she's like, all right, we're going to play a blessing. She was still giving her advice along the way, because she's like, what's more, Boaz, now we're in chapter 21, verse 21, chapter 2. What's more, Boaz even told me to come back and stay with his harvesters until the entire harvest is complete. Stay with her mother-in-law the whole time, right? All right, let's move on to chapter 3. So then Naomi said to Ruth, my daughter, it's time that I found a permanent home for you. You'll be provided for. So she's like, it's time for you to go ahead and find a home. Told her, okay, now listen, I'm going to help you get this man, all right? So she was like, okay, this is what I want you to do. You go fix yourself up, honey. Put a little perfume on, put a little makeup, all right? And just go lay at his feet. That's what she told him. And so Ruth is like, okay, I'm going to do whatever you says. I'll do it. So she went down to the threshing floor that night and followed the instructions of her mother-in-law, right? Laying at his feet. So he's like, who are you? Like, why are you laying at my feet? She's like, oh, I am your servant. I'm Ruth. Telling her, he's like, listen, you're laying here at my feet, but there's somebody that's actually a closer relative, because back in the day, they married their, the closest relative. So he's like, there's someone that's closer. So if he wants you, you go ahead, you're going to be married to him. Otherwise, he's like, then then that'll be different. So she went and laid on the floor. We asked, what happened? Like, she's like, why are you back? And then Ruth told Naomi everything Boaz had done for her. And she added, he gave me these 6 scoops of barley and said, don't go back to your mother-in-law empty-handed. So she had something to give to her mother-in-law. So Boaz wanted to follow all of the rules. So he's like, listen, let's follow the rules. He did everything right. And then he's like, okay. Then Boaz said to the elders, you are witness that today I have brought from Naomi all the property, he said, and the land with the land I've acquired Ruth, he said, to be my wife. This way she can have a son to carry on the name of her dead husband, to inherit the family property here in the hometown. You are all witnesses today. Then the elders and all the people standing in the gate replied, we are witnesses. May the Lord make this woman who is coming into your home like Rachel and Leah from the nation of Israel descended. May you prosper. And so they spoke prosperity on him. And so, end of the story, she wind up taking her as a wife. She wound up getting pregnant. Restore your youth and care for you in your old age, for he is the son of your daughter-in-law who loves you, who has been better to you than 7 sons. Naomi took the baby and cuddled him to her breast, and she cared for him as if it was her own. The neighbor women said, now at least Naomi has a son again. And they named him Obed, right? He became the father of Jesse and the grandfather of David. And that is the story of Ruth. And I think in today's society, I think it's showing us that being faithful made her such a powerful woman. She got all of her blessings because she didn't give up. Now, when Naomi said, hey, you go ahead and go. You don't have to sit and you don't have to be here with me. She was like, I'm still going to go. So because of her faithfulness, that's why God blessed her. She was a powerful woman because she did not give up no matter what. She did everything her mother-in-law told her to do. Today, I think we can talk about our marriage is dead. Let's just get a divorce. Our business is dead. Let's just give up and let's not do our business anymore. There's so many things that if you just stayed faithful a little bit longer, God will bless you, right? But sometimes we have to take steps to get to where we need to go. And it's not always good. Sometimes we got to go through hardships. We have to do everything like that, but it's not always a dead situation. Thank you so much for watching. And like I said, every day there'll be more. So go ahead and follow if you want to hear more stories about powerful women in the Bible. See you tomorrow.